I never thought I'd see the day when the HOA actually sent fake police officers to my door to arrest me. But here's the twist, they didn't know I'm a real FBI agent. And when I revealed the truth, their entire little empire came crashing down. So, let me start from the beginning. I live in a nice suburban neighborhood. On the surface, it looks peaceful: green lawns, trimmed hedges, kids riding bikes. But behind that perfect picture is a nightmare, the HOA. Our HOA president is Karen. And yes, she's exactly what you're imagining. Early 50s, sunglasses even when it's cloudy, clipboard in hand, and the kind of person who thinks the rules don't just apply to the neighborhood, but to life itself. Karen's the type of person who will measure your grass with a ruler. She's the type who'll complain if your trash can is at the curb 10 minutes too early. For the most part, I ignored her. I kept to myself, I paid my dues, and I thought if I stayed under the radar, she'd leave me alone. But I was wrong. It all started when I parked my government-issued SUV in front of my own house. Now, if you don't know, FBI vehicles aren't flashy. They look like regular black SUVs, but they're always spotless and sometimes have government plates. Mine did. The very next day, I had a note taped to my door. It said, "Unauthorized government-looking vehicles are not allowed to park on the street. This is a private community. You have 24 hours to move it before fines begin. Signed, HOA President Karen." I laughed at first. Unauthorized government-looking vehicles? Really? What does that even mean? So I ignored it. I had every legal right to park there. The following morning, I was leaving for work when I saw Karen herself marching across the street. "Excuse me," she snapped, blocking my path. "That vehicle is illegal here." I raised an eyebrow. "Illegal? Ma'am, it's my car. Registered, insured, and parked in front of my own property." She huffed, puffing out her chest. "This is a private neighborhood. No cop cars, no government vans. It makes the place look like a crime scene." I smirked. Well, maybe that's a good thing. Keeps the bad guys away. Karen didn't like that answer. She jabbed her finger in my direction. "You have 24 hours. Or I'll have the authorities deal with you." I thought she meant the real authorities. Spoiler alert, she didn't. A couple of days later, things escalated. I was home on a Saturday morning, sitting on my porch with a coffee, when suddenly a white sedan pulls up. Two men step out, wearing dark uniforms with badges that looked off. One of them shouted, "Sir, step away from the vehicle. You are under HOA arrest for violation of Community Code 47B." I almost spit out my coffee. HOA arrest? Karen came trotting right behind them, smug as ever. "Yes, officers. That's the one. He refuses to comply." I walked down the steps slowly, eyeing these so-called officers. Their badges were cheap plastic. Their belts had dollar store handcuffs. And instead of police, their uniforms literally said HOA Security Enforcement. I couldn't believe it. Karen had actually hired fake cops. One of them barked, "We need you to move your vehicle immediately, or we'll impound it." I folded my arms. "You sure about that?" Karen sneered. "Don't test them. They have authority." That's when I realized she actually believed this nonsense. I decided to play along. "Oh no," I said, pretending to panic. "HOA police? Am I under arrest?" Karen grinned like she just won the lottery. "Yes. Finally someone's putting you in your place." One of the fake officers pulled out a citation book and started scribbling. He handed me a slip that said, "HOA violation fine, $10,000. Failure to comply may result in imprisonment." I burst out laughing. "Imprisonment? In what, your community jail?" Karen's face went red. "This isn't a joke," she shrieked. "These officers have the power to detain you. At that point, my neighbor Dave came outside, holding a beer at 10 a.m. "What the heck's going on here?" he asked. Karen turned dramatically. "Don't worry, Dave. The HOA police are handling this criminal." Dave squinted. "HOA police? Lady, those guys look like mall cops." That stung them. One of the fake cops snapped, "Sir, stand back or you'll be charged with obstruction." I couldn't hold back anymore. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my real badge, and flipped it open. "Actually," I said calmly, "I'm a federal agent. FBI. And impersonating law enforcement is a serious federal crime." The color drained from their faces. Karen blinked like she'd been slapped. "W what?" "No, they're official. I hired them through the HOA budget." I shook my head. "Karen, you just committed fraud. You spent HOA funds on fake police and tried to enforce fake laws. Do you have any idea how illegal that is?" The two fake officers stammered, backing away. One muttered, We were just hired for security. She told us it was legal." I turned to Karen. "You're in a lot of trouble. You've got two options: shut your mouth and step away, or explain to a federal judge why you thought you could create your own police force." For the first time ever, Karen didn't have a comeback. She just stood there, shaking, her sunglasses slipping down her nose. I told the fake cops, "Drop the props and get out of here before I add impersonating a federal officer to your rap sheet." They didn't hesitate, they ran to their car and sped off. Karen, on the other hand, still tried to bluff. You can't threaten me. I'll call the real police." "Good idea," I said, pulling out my phone. "Let's do it together." Her eyes went wide. "Wait, no, we don't need to involve them." But it was too late. Karen tried to spin it, saying she was just protecting the neighborhood, but the officers weren't buying it. One of them sighed. "Ma'am, hiring people to pose as police is a crime. You're coming with us." I swear, the look on her face as they put her in the back of the cruiser was the sweetest thing I've ever seen. The HOA held an emergency meeting later that week. Karen was stripped of her presidency, fined heavily, and eventually moved out of the neighborhood altogether. As for me, I still park my FBI SUV right in front of my house every single day. And the new HOA president? Let's just say they don't mess with me anymore. Because everyone knows now, if you try to play fake cop games, you'll lose when the real one shows up. So, what do you think? If your HOA tried to create their own police force, how would you react? Let me know your story in the comments, I read every single one. And if you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button for more insane HOA and Karen stories. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next one.